tonight's review is Sonic. Just kidding, Donkey Kong Country for Super Nintendo. Woohoo! This game is considered to be one of the best 2D platformers of all time. It's most due to its very tight gameplay and brilliant level design. All installments of the Donkey Kong Country series had revolutionary graphics for their time. Those graphics were made by pre-rendering 3D models and then doing 2D sprites through the 3D frames, which led to a new concept in graphics that was much more realistic than the regular pixel art of that time in the Super Nintendo. And since this game is so renowned, it had several launches and relaunches on different platforms. See, the original one was in 1994 for the Super Nintendo, of course. Then, in the year of 2000, we had a re-release on the Game Boy Color. Then, in 2003, we had another one on the Game Boy Advance. 2007, we've got one for the Virtual Console of the Wii. The Wii U's got this game on its Virtual Console in 2014, and the 3DS got it on 2016. So, this game is famous, considered to be one of the best, but it is not free from flaws. Well, I won't say that the story is a flaw because the game's concept is never that of a story-deep one. The story is very simple. The evil crocodile king K. Rool invaded DK's island, stole all of his bananas, and DK is not taking any of that shit. He's going after K. Rool to expel him from his island and take the bananas back. Very simple motive for a gorilla to after an enemy. The controls. Use the D-pad to move sideways and duck. You jump with B. You can roll or perform a cartwheel with Y. If you press and hold Y and move sideways, your character will run. When you are running, you will jump higher and farther. The Y button has got another use yet. There are certain objects that can be held by pressing Y, and when you release the button, you will throw them. There are several ones. The most common one is barrels. You can throw them on enemies to kill them, or on secret walls to break them and reveal bonus levels. When you have the two Kongs alive, you can press A to switch which one you are controlling. You see, this game's health system is that of each of your monkeys has got 1 HP. He's got any hit, he goes away. You can recover him back by finding a DK barrel and breaking it. So when you lose both of them, you lose 1 life and you get back to the last checkpoint. There is a difference in mechanics between Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong. Diddy Kong is lighter and faster. Thus he can go further and he is easier to maneuver, but DK is stronger. There are certain enemies that only DK can kill by jumping on top of them. One of the most notable things of this game is that you can ride several animal friends. You can ride a rhino that just destroys anything on its way when it's running. The ostrich allows you to glide if you mash the jump button, and it runs pretty fast as well. The one that I like the least is the frog. You see, the frog jumps very high, but it's very annoying to do precise movements horizontally with him. The swordfish is great because the water levels are annoying and he is the best way you've got to kill enemies underwater. Well, the game modes are very simple. You've got a single player game, then you've got two kinds of two-player games. One is cooperative, where each player controls a different Kong, and it's like the single player, except that each controller controls a different monkey. And the two-player competition mode is where each player controls a different set of Kongs with different stocks of lives, and the goal is to finish each level faster than your opponent. One of the things that makes this game incredible is the level design. Many levels have very different, unique concepts on them. The regular movements of the Kongs are very tight to perform, and the game rewards level knowledge in a way that you can get hyped up for mastering the controls and the levels. But in certain points, the difficulty feels more unfair than challenging. For example, there are many levels where you have to shoot yourself from a barrel to another one. The barrel gameplay does not feel tight. You can only shoot in 8 angles, but it readjusts the angle you're trying to shoot yourself into, and sometimes it does not feel okay. It annoys me. It doesn't feel precise as it should be, as you need it to be. Another thing, the ice mechanics, as in sliding through the ice, are quite annoying at first, but you get used to it. After a while it becomes just another obstacle that you overcome, and which makes you happy that you overcame it. But I can't say the same thing about the water. The water is simply annoying. The water changes the pace of the gameplay so much. In one level you're jumping and running and doing your mojo and you're happy on the jungle. Next thing you know, you're swimming slowly, avoiding obstacles helplessly on the water. Does not feel good. The boss fights are really not that creative. It goes to a point that there are 2 bosses that you fight twice, and the second time they're just pumped up. It's all about jumping in their heads or doing something very basic. For a game with such refined and diverse levels, the bosses are way too simple and repetitive. The minecart levels rock. I love them. They are simple, you just have to time your jumps basically, and it's one of the things that fans of the series love so much. But all things considered, the regular levels where you just walk with the Kongs on normal terrain are the ones with the tightest gameplay. They are the ones that makes me more satisfied. I cannot talk about Donkey Kong Country without mentioning its music. The compositions are gorgeous. There are 3 people credited for the music of this game: Evelyn Fisher, Robin Beanland, and the one that is most remembered, David Wise. David Wise worked in several rare games, and his work is always brilliant. So Donkey Kong Country is a timeless classic of the 2D platforming genre. Well, it has its problems. As I said, the water is annoying and there are way too many water levels. I'd replace them all with minecart levels. There are way more water levels than minecart levels. That makes no sense. Minecart is way funner than water. Well, go figure. Some of the interactive elements are annoying to deal with, such as walking with the frog, as I said earlier, shooting the barrels, and certain level details. But all of those things do not overshadow the masterful game design and level design overall of this game. Where it shines brightly. If you like platformers, go for it. DKC's got it all. Just try to keep your cool on the water levels. And tell me, which Kong is your favorite, DK or Diddy? Huh? So we are the gaming generation, and this was another of our game reviews. Do you like memes? Do you like gameplay content? Do you? Wow! Then visit our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. There you will find those. The best kind of those memes and gameplays. Go have fun! Also check out my YouTube and Facebook page, Leo Siren Games. I've got fighting games gameplays and single player ones too. Always very sexy. Check it out and have a blast, because I know you will. Bye bye, and until next time.